welcome everyone. My name is Philippe Hertzberg. I'm the founder of Secret Journeys, and I'm really happy to welcome Martine Anstett today. Welcome, Martine.
Thank you very much.
And Martine is actually the storyteller we work with, we collaborate with in presenting the Royal Stables of Versailles, actually the Equestrian Academy of Versailles. And Martine, before I ask you the first question, I'll just give you a bit of a background to introduce you, and also remind everyone who's watching us that this is really the opportunity for you to, over the course of a few minutes, to meet firsthand via Zoom during these unsettling times with some of our inspiring, authoritative storytellers. Martine, about your story, you studied history, you have a passion for performances of all forms, so ballet performances.
Mainly.
You've actually started working at the Equestrian Academy of Versailles when it started in 2003. So,
yeah.
So you know it really inside out, and there are few people who know the riders, the horses, the site, this landmark as intimately, I would say, as you do. And we'll hear more about your knowledge and your stories and the anecdotes. You also have another landmark which also deals with ballet, not horse ballet or rider ballet, but dancers. And this is the Opéra Garnier. That's another of the many landmarks that you cover and you know intimately. To start with, the first question is really connecting you to the Académie Équestre de Versailles in French. When and how did that story with that landmark start? And how important do you feel the Royal Stables are? Because many people know the Palace of Versailles and the gardens, but right in front of the palace is these amazing Royal Stables, and very few people spend time there. And so how important do you think those stables are to you and to France and to France's history in general?
So let me explain you that I'm living in Versailles. So I was used to drive very often in front of the royal stables. And for me, during a long time, it was just a storage area because there was more than a century that there were no more horses inside. Mm-hmm. And it was during the year 2002 that I learned, because working in the palace, that life could come again to the stables because it was supposed to open again an equestrian academy in the stables. So as I am an animal lover, not only a horse lover, but an animal lover, just thinking that some animals, horses, real horses, could come back, not in a museum, but in a lively place, was very interesting for me. Mm-hmm. Later, I have been told that Bartabas could become the director, and Bartabas for me was a man of theater, but very quickly when I started to work with them, I understood that of course it was a matter of equestrian theater, but mainly I should say of dance with horses, ballet, equestrian ballet. And as you said, I am really a ballet lover for such a long time. I have been a journalist with ballet, and working with this place was a wonderful opportunity for me to match, exactly, to mix together my love for animals and my love for ballet, and it was a unique opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And the Royal Stables themselves, how, as you've pointed out, and actually we've covered this in one of our stories of recovery, where, as you mentioned, it was no horses had been there for nearly 85 years since World War I, and horses came back in 2003 thanks to Bartabas and the launch of the Equestrian Academy. How important in the history of the palace were these royal stables?
Nobody can imagine how important they were, because we have just to keep in mind that during the 17th, the 18th century, horses were the only way of transport.
Mm.
Of course, there was no car, no bicycle, and without horses, you were not able to move just around the place you were staying. And it's why Louis XIV, when he ordered for these stables, it was in the second half of the 17th century, he needed them to be built as close as possible as from the palace, exactly as today you need to have your car park close of your home, exactly. So it was a useful place for half of them, but for the Grande Écurie, the place we can visit together, it was mainly a place of art, not of transport, but really of art, because it was the birthplace of the art of equestrian ballet. It means that before that time, before the second half of the 17th century, people were riding the horses in a useful way, mainly as a warrior. So you needed to be on your saddle, to be able to go straight ahead, to have a lot of strength, and you were keeping your fingers crossed, nothing else. But because the wars became very different, and because you must always keep it in mind, Louis XIV was a horse lover and an art lover mainly. It was really the beginning of trying to teach the horses to go in a very soft way, in a very light way, and it was really the real basis of the equestrian art, and it's why it's so important, because it was the birthplace. All over the world, people will say to you about Vienna, the Spanish riding school of Vienna with the beautiful Lipizan horses. But before, I'm sorry to say it, before Vienna, everything was born in Versailles, exactly. It's why it was a really important historical place for equestrian art lovers.
Martine, you know, I mean, every rider, and you know also every horse and every horse's name. When we are together, I see you in the stables, and you're able to just walk towards each horse, take them out of the stable, and introduce them to our guests. What is your, I would say, your favorite horse or the favorite breed, and why? Why would you choose that?
Well, I think I'm not supposed to give any name to you, but well, most of the horses now, there are almost 43 horses, and I think that more than 70% are Lusitanian horses. So I have to say they are my favorite, and it's true. They are really very beautiful horses, but Lusitanian horses were the favorite ones of the King Louis XIV, because they are looking very beautiful horses. And of course, this king was fond of beauty. Art, he wanted to have beauty everywhere, inside the apartments, in the gardens, and even with beautiful horses. And this is a very special horse, because Lusitanian horses can have almost all the colors possible. Here in Versailles, there are mainly some cream Lusitanian horses. Don't say white, it's cream color exactly. Crémelos is the name with the Lusitanian language. And they are very special because only these horses, and it's absolutely natural, it's not a disease or anything, they have some blue eyes. Bartabas is used to say that with their blue eyes, they are looking as women. I don't know, I am not sure, but they are really very special. This very cream hair with the blue eyes, and they are so beautiful legs. They are really looking at some dancers. And I like to say that they are not horses, they are an equestrian corps de ballet. And we know that some of them are able to produce some solo, as you have some principals in the ballet company. And I am used to show the horses when I introduce them to a guest by their name, of course, and by their title. This one is a principal. This one is a solist only. And among all of them, I like especially one of them, which is called Vivace. Vivace as Allegro, Adagio, Vivace. Vivace is not a principal, not yet, I hope, but a very beautiful horse. And when it's possible to show him without a blanket on his back, you can really see all the muscles of the shoulder, of the legs. And when you see that, you understand it's a body, a little bit, you can do a parallel with the body of dancer. You can imagine how many hours of work this horse and the rider to have had together in order to get such a beautiful body. And it's very special. I have never seen anywhere this type of horses. Of course, when you can see some pur sang, as we say, some English horses for the races, they are very beautiful, but they are nervous. These ones are absolutely not nervous. They are very quiet horses. They like to hear music and singing, and they are working as a ballerina or a dancer. Day after day is practicing at the bar during the lesson. They are practicing in the arena.
Martine, thank you for those inspiring and insightful stories of the Equestrian Academy of Versailles. We all hope to be able to join you for a performance very soon as everyone is able to come back to Paris and to Versailles. But it was really nice to have this conversation and to give everyone a bit of a taste for another part that is not known as much as it should be known, which is the royal stables, which are right in front of the palace. As you've mentioned, it was the car park where Louis XIV at one point had 2,000 cars, 2,000 horses. And I think it's an exceptional and magical site and landmark to visit. So we hope to see you very soon, Martine.
I hope too. You are the very welcome ones.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
À bientôt.